You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's Walk the Talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, Sanbonani. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. It's great to have you with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning. We start the show with the 702 open line as always on 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Have you been watching the Nkabinde Inquiry into the Johannesburg prosecution's boss Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office? Remember, the inquiry was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa after he suspended Chauke amid serious allegations. He was accused of quashing the prosecution of politically connected individuals and making questionable prosecutorial decisions. And his boss, the National Prosecuting Authority head, Advocate Shamila Batohi, has been testifying. And honestly, guys, to say it's been a bit of a disaster is an understatement. I mean, there are instances where Shamila Batohi, the advocate, is confessing that she actually didn't read the Boyson docket. And yet she reviewed the decision to charge Boyson. Remember, when she came in, there was a panel that recommended that they withdraw the charges. But you didn't read the docket? And I mean, she has tried to justify that, to say there's case law on the fact that the NDPP doesn't have to know everything and doesn't have to read every document. But if you're going to make a decision so monumental, that is a docket that you at least need to read. It's like, I mean, and this is not a direct comparison, but remember when the former city manager of Ekurhuleni, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, remember when she told the commission she decided that there would be no action against Julius Mkhwanazi, even when there was an IPID report that said this guy was dishonest and abused his power. And he said, I didn't read that report. I just sort of glanced through the document. And yet you are making such an important decision on a document and a case you have not familiarized yourself with. And this just reminded me of that when Advocate Shamila Batohi said that. I mean, and then there was also this tension between her and the chairperson of that inquiry. I mean, it's been getting a bit awkward, some of the interactions that we have seen between the two of them. Listen to this.
I had actually thought that maybe I should find out, counsel, whether you are ending it up at General Mdluli's point, the terms of reference 3.2, or you want to exhaust this question before we step out?
Chairperson, may I please comment on that? Well, let's hear what Advocate Chauke says first.
That's fair, because I'm asking him the question, not yourself.
Oh my God. I mean, this is not funny, but it's funny. Like, the chairperson is asking Advocate Batohi a question. Advocate Batohi comes in and says, well, Chair, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But anyway, let's hear what Advocate Batohi has to say first. And then the chair says, yeah, that's fair, because I'm asking him the question. Listen to this.
Advocate Batohi, did you familiarize yourself with the terms of reference?
No, I didn't.
And you are the complainant in this matter?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Well, you can call me the complainant. It's the president that decided. So I'm not sure that I'm the complainant, but I certainly made a referral to the president.
Which question are you answering now?
Whether I'm well, it wasn't a question. It was a comment that I am the complainant in this matter. And I'm seeking to clarify that I don't see myself as a complainant. It's the president who decided. I made a referral to the president.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the chair makes a statement that this is your, like the president made a decision based on like your referral, basically. So she's making a statement, the chairperson, and then she responds, and then the chairperson says, which question are you responding to? Yeah, and there are many moments like that I can play you. But on a serious note, it's really, really concerning. And I don't think that the charges that they've put forward at this inquiry is anything stronger that can, if really that's what was hoped for here, if any are going to stick on Advocate Chauke, given the testimony that we have seen so far from the main quote-unquote complainant, Advocate Chauke's boss. Take a listen to, this is when they were asking her about her affidavit. And she actually was referencing that she doesn't remember some aspects of her affidavit or some terms of reference. Listen to this.
I am specifically referring to 156.4 as regards the question that is put to you regarding the conduct of the alleged conduct of Advocate Chauke in settling the answering affidavit of Advocate Jiba. And I'm asking, is it correct that there is nothing more to this paragraph 156.4 in this affidavit? Your affidavit?
Chairperson, I'm not sure if there's nothing more because this was, as I said, summarizing the essence of the charges. I don't know if this is dealt with anywhere else in the affidavit.
This is your affidavit, counsel, with the greatest of respect to you. You should be able to help us because it is your testimony. You should know this affidavit better than us. It is your affidavit under oath. Otherwise, we are going to have to adjourn again and read this affidavit so that we ascertain whether there is any other part in your affidavit that makes reference to the further conduct of Advocate Chauke that is impugned.
I mean, at some point, they had to ask about the terms of reference and...
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
All right, so we go to your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. You can give us a call as well on 011-883-0702.
Yes, Clement, what a disaster Shamila Batohi is. You know, I was really upset when Julius interrupted Tereline James at that ad hoc committee inquiry as well. Because even there she was lying about the person that has been suspended and that's the leaker of or working with the underworld. And she was just saying something because I listened to that tape and I even went back. And she was trying to create the impression that she suspended someone that is involved in the underworld, and then when questioned on it, then she wanted to hide behind the fact that the person doesn't know she's investigating the person. And for me, it was just a lie. Because when they said, let's do it in camera, not away, and then she wants to accuse parliamentarians of, they will leak that information, the people in that ad hoc committee, and they let her get away with it Because what was the implication? She was telling them that she doesn't even trust them and they can't oversee or do oversight work on her work. I just don't trust Shamila Batohi anymore. And then the startling thing that she thought she was going to go to this thing and she wasn't going to be cross-examined. I mean, so she just wanted to say things and then nobody's going to cross-examine her. No, man. Yes, what a disappointment this woman turned out to be. Ban in Prakpan.
The chairperson, Ban, was not happy, in fact, with that statement of cross-examination because, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, my understanding is that Shamila Batohi said, the advocate said, well, the understanding was that she wasn't going to be cross-examined. She was going to come, they lead her evidence, read it into the record, out. And she even somehow suggested that she was on a telephone conversation with the chair of the inquiry. And that's when the agreement was made. And the chair of the inquiry said, please do not misrepresent what happened in that telephone conversation. Don't. And she was very upset. You can tell. She said, do not misrepresent what happened during that conversation. I never said that you are not going to be cross-examined. So that was another awkward moment that happened at that inquiry.
Clement, good morning. Yeah, listening to Advocate Batohi, I know you'll be disappointed big time. Remember, they asked her about the General Kumalo's case, and she just said she didn't look at the document, at the docket. She was given like the charges. And they kept on pressing her in the ad hoc committee in Parliament. And now it comes out that this lady just sit there and do nothing. She's incompetent. Good man from Joburg.
Hi, Clement. Look, it's a further demonstration and confirmation of the incompetency of the NPA in the main, led by Batohi. We've always complained about cases which are fumbled. This shows why that is the case. If the very same person who's in charge of the prosecutors can fumble and mess up a case as strong as the one that Chauke has, because Chauke is really on the wrong side, and he had to be put and wrapped around the coals. So it further confirms the challenge that the NPA has. The sooner she leaves, the better. Really, she's messed up, this woman. It's just from century and century.
In fact, let me just play you a last clip. This is of Nkabinde. Remember, I was referencing, did she read that docket or not? And how are you making decisions on a docket you're not read fully? Take a listen to how Nkabinde put that point across at that inquiry.
But you have come to say to the panel, there was no case against Major General Boysen without ever having read the docket. Can I suggest that that is an astonishing proposition coming from the head of our prosecution service? And I'm going to tell the panel that at the end, that your evidence must be rejected as incredible because it is irresponsible to make such a claim without having read the docket.
Yeah, that's the point that Advocate Nkabinde was making to her. It's 23 minutes now after 9 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Here's a question for you. If this is something you have experienced yourself, have you ever disclosed something so deep to someone or to people that you love, something that has risked your relationship with them, whether that person is your partner or they are your family, your colleagues, your friends, maybe your own kids, and you had to tell them something that was difficult to disclose? And what have you disclosed to them that was so deep that you were scared to even tell them but you did. And I wonder what happened afterwards. And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. Maybe you disclosed your HIV status to your partner, and you fell in love with someone and you were scared to disclose that upfront because you just didn't know how they're going to take it. But at some point, and maybe before even you were sexually, intimate with them, but you set them down and you said, okay, this is what's going on as we prepare to get into the next step or stage of our relationship. Was it something difficult for you to disclose? And how did they take it? Were you scared? Maybe you disclosed your sexuality to your family or to your best friend, and you told them what's going on. How was that? And how did they take it? Maybe you disclosed to your partner or a friend that you are, a trained sangoma, or that you have announced to your family or your loved ones that you're no longer Muslim and that you are now Christian, or vice versa. Or you grew up in this Christian family and now you're telling them, I'm no longer Christian. I follow a different religion. What is the difficult thing you've ever had to disclose to your family or to your loved ones? And how did they take it? Listen to this pastor in the US who announced to the church. And I would imagine this is probably one of the most difficult things he's ever had to announce, because you just don't know what the consequences are going to be. He made an announcement that sort of shocked most of the family of the church members, but also you could tell just watching him make that announcement how scared he was of the potential consequences of this revelation. Hear it for yourself.
Are my parents okay with this? Absolutely not. They texted me this morning and they asked for me to tell you all that they do not support me and that they have chosen their convictions and their beliefs over supporting their child. Everyone gets nervous when there's a special announcement from the pastor. I'm not leaving. Hold on to that. I'm going to hold you to it. So, rarely do I did not get into ministry to talk about myself or my personal life, but sometimes there are things that happen in a pastor's personal life that is going to find its way out into ministry. And so I am inviting you to join me in a season of creative transformation for myself, and I think for all of us. So I get to announce with joy that I'm transitioning. I'm affirming and saying to all of you that I am transgender. And so the best way to put this is that I'm not becoming a woman. I'm giving up pretending to be a man.
Sure. Can you imagine how shocking an announcement like that is to a congregation that to them, they've known this person as the partner in the way that he's been expressing himself, so to speak. And now he comes. Can you hear how trembling he is? Like when you watch the clip, you see how scared he is because people could just get up and walk out of the church. He just doesn't have the control over how people are going to react to this announcement. And he's telling the church for the first time ever that I know this is how you've always looked at me as, but I'm transitioning. I'm transgender. And I'm asking you, using that example, what is that one thing that you've had to disclose before in your life? And you've been so scared to do it, and you did it, and what happened afterwards? And some of you may have examples where actually your revelation or disclosure was met with a lot more grace and kindness. Maybe some of you, people walked out of your lives. Or maybe you're still scared. There's something that you're still scared that you don't know how you're ever going to disclose to your loved ones. Maybe it's the fact that you've got a child outside of your marriage. Maybe you had that child even before you got married, but you've always been scared to acknowledge that child. And now you have to sit your family down, or your wife or your husband, and actually say, this is my reality. But you know that could risk it all. Or maybe there's somebody who's disclosed something to you that was really deep and could have broken things up, or it ended up breaking things up. Give us a call, please, on 011-883-0702. You can send your WhatsApp voice notes as well on 072-702-1702. I know of friends who own businesses who often say the most difficult thing for them is telling people you are retrenched. Telling someone that you know has relied on this job and has got a family that they care for, and you've got to let them go. That's quite a difficult thing to do. Or maybe you've had to tell someone that the baby is not yours. Ooh. There are difficult things out there that people have had to disclose to their loved ones or the people they care about. What was it for you? And how did that work out? Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. It's 9:30.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let me go to your messages now. Your calls, your WhatsApps as well, responding to this question I'm asking on the 702 open line this morning about the difficult things you've ever had to disclose to your loved ones. So maybe it's stuff that's been disclosed to you. What was it? I've just played you a clip before the headlines, if you missed it, of a pastor who woke up one day, went to church and announced to a whole church, a Methodist pastor, and said, I have decided to tell you that I am transitioning. I'm transgender. And I bet you that must have been one of the most difficult announcements or revelations he's had to make to even to a group of people like that, especially a congregation. And I'm asking you, what is that one thing that was so difficult for you to disclose to your loved ones, and you did? And how did they take it? Or maybe it's something that was disclosed to you. On the WhatsApp line, Anonymous says, hey, Clement, I would like to remain anonymous. I made my ex pregnant last year, and she gave birth early this year. I only told my current partner a few weeks ago after almost 18 months of guilt and shame. She is so heartbroken. She, of course, dumped me, but we are now working at fixing the relationship. This is my first child, whereas she already has a 10-year-old. The problem is now that I'm thinking maybe I should be with my ex because there's a baby. I'm so torn. Yo, Anonymous, what a conundrum. What I'm trying to understand, though, Anonymous, is did you have this child? Did you make this child with your ex while you were with your current partner? Or you and your ex had broken up, and then you had not met this current partner, and you went back to your ex, and then a baby was conceived. I'm trying to understand that scenario because you're saying the current partner is heartbroken. So I'm imagining that while you were still in a relationship with the current partner, you went and conceived a child with an ex. If you can clarify that for me, please. But that's how it appears from the message you've sent. And I can only imagine how difficult that must have been. Like, what do you say to your partner? Hey, I've got a child, and I had this child because I left the relationship to go be with somebody else, and yeah, a child was conceived. Sure. Yeah, that's so tough, Anonymous, and all the best as you and your partner are trying to figure it out. Another one says, hey, Clement, I fell on hard times, and I decided to sell my house this year, and I knew that my family wouldn't take it so well. Now my dad isn't talking to me because he was strongly against the idea. That's a message there from Anonymous. So something as maybe you may see it as simple as selling a house. To some people, it's not as simple as that. In fact, they are thinking that there's a lot more that is attached to that decision than you think. Another one says, hey, good morning, Clement. I once disclosed to my siblings that the other one, who has now passed on, had a different father. Yo, they all didn't know. I was the only one who knew because our mother used to send me to this man, especially when she needed money. They were shocked and they couldn't even comment. I regretted it because it now was like I was it now was like it was better if they didn't know. That's a message there from Tabo. Yeah, that's a tough one. Imagine telling your siblings, listen here, this person is not actually, we don't share a father with them. And this is something that you guys have believed your entire lives. In fact, I remember a time, there was a time where I was told a story of a child who grew up in a family and that child was adopted. And they didn't tell him anything. Obviously, he was adopted when he was still young. And when he got older, the family was planning to tell him when he was in, I think, grade 11 that, hey, listen, you are actually adopted. But there are people in the family who got to their child before the story, before this explanation could be given by his own parents, adopted parents. And that didn't sit well with the child, who ended up just hating both of the adopted parents, and in fact decided to move out immediately because he felt, how could you keep something like that from me? And it's very difficult to reveal these things because where do you even begin? Where do you even begin when you have had someone who has been a child to you and now you have to tell them this, and you know that is going to change the dynamics of that relationship? So there are some revelations or announcements that are really difficult to take up. Another message says, Clement, I still haven't disclosed that my uncle molested me when I was a child. Reason being, he also raped my sister. So when my sister came out, my mom was so angry that it started affecting her health. So now I just didn't want to add that because I think it will break her. Oh my goodness, Anonymous. I'm sorry to hear that. But can you imagine now you have to put a plaster and prevent yourself from sharing something so painful, something so traumatic, being molested by an uncle because he has done something similar to your sister. And when your sister revealed it to your mom was so angry and her health was affected. And now you've got to so almost suppress your feelings and your trauma and keep moving, because should you come out and reveal this may affect your mom's health. But this is so difficult. And I worry, Anonymous, because you are not putting yourself first. I worry about how you are going to deal with this when even your mother is not going to be there at some point in the future. Isn't it something? Because some people often say that I would have loved to hear how my mom at least comforts me, because that's an inner child that has been hurt. And some people, when they have experienced things like that, they'll tell you that I would have loved to feel a mother's love. I would have loved to actually have a mom that comforts me. But then again, I suppose, what's the point of telling your mom that if you know that the last time they were told of something similar, they got upset and they started blaming you as a child? They get angry at you because how dare you accuse your mother's brother of something so heinous? Oh, but how difficult it must be. There's so many people out there who are carrying so much pain, who are carrying so much trauma. And I think this is an opportunity for us as families to ask ourselves, have we created a conducive environment for our family members to be honest with us? Can you imagine your own child who has been molested by a family member is scared to come and tell you because you are going to be so angry and blame them, and your health is going to be affected? Another message says, hi Clement, I am bisexual. I have been in love with my lady for 4 years now, and we have 2 kids. We met my ex-boyfriend at a mall, and he just said, hey, since then, I've been wondering if I should disclose to my girlfriend that I have been with a guy before. What if she finds out from someone else? Yeah, that's a message there from Anonymous. So, Anonymous, you're saying you're bisexual and you've been with your lady for about 4 years now and you've got 2 kids. And the other day you met your ex-boyfriend at the mall and who greeted you guys, and now you're considering telling your girlfriend that you've been with a guy before, because what if she finds out from somebody else? Let me put this out to more listeners. What do you think should be Anonymous's approach here? Because you could argue that, that was Anonymous's decisions before he met this lady, right? So do you think that the lady needs to know that information? Or you could argue that, well, Anonymous, at the end of the day, that is part of who you are, especially if you still identify as bisexual. That is part of who you are. And of course, I would imagine that in your case, or whatever case, being bisexual doesn't mean that you can just have a girl and a boy at the same time. You choose one at a time, right? And she doesn't have to feel like you are going to leave her for a guy for as long as you are with her. So maybe you must be confident in that and just disclose to her that this used to be, this is who I am, but right now you are the person I want to be with. Because if she does find out from somebody else, that may affect the dynamics of your relationship, and she may ask, why didn't you tell me? Or do you think that Anonymous doesn't need to say that? Please, if you can give Anonymous some advice there. Let's go to this other message. Hi, Clement. We were struggling to have kids with my wife, and I took an initiative to check myself and found out that the issue is with me, and we may not have kids. And I had to inform my wife. She was shattered, but has been very supportive. This has really been very difficult for both of us. Yeah, that's a tough one. And those are the kind of disclosures I'm talking about. Something is so deep, and because this is something that both of you want. Can you imagine when you want children, both you and your wife, and you get to a point where you realize that, the issue is on your side. And you have to be honest with your wife, who has always wanted kids. Or you have to be honest with your husband, who's always wanted kids, to say, babe, it's not going to happen. And that's what the doctors have said. Because what follows then is that you have to mourn what both of you have desired before, that that is not going to come to pass. These things are pretty tricky. Share your experiences with us on 011-883-0702. Keep your messages and your voice notes coming as well on 072-702-1702. What are those difficult things you've had to disclose to your loved ones? And how did they take them? Or maybe it's something that someone disclosed to you. Call us or send us a WhatsApp.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line. Your calls on 011-883-0702. And I'm taking your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. I'll come back to your WhatsApps and your messages about the things that you've had to disclose that were so difficult and how that changed. But also you've been sending your WhatsApps as well about how you have been assessing the Nkabinde Inquiry. This is an inquiry looking into the fitness to hold office of the Johannesburg prosecution's boss, Andrew Chauke, and Advocate Shamila Batohi, who is Chauke's boss, has been testifying over the last couple of days. And my goodness, it's been something sort of a disaster.
Morning, Clement. I hear you about Brabia. You see these people, incompetent about Batohi. I listened to her in the parliament. I said, this lady, that is why the NPA is failing like this. Luckily, there are some other people who are competent in that area. That is why sometimes you'll find that they are cushioning. He's literal incompetent. It's just incompetent. I don't know. He just having that mentality of saying he's trying to protect himself. And if I listen to this Nkabinde's committee now, he is literal incompetent. Thanks, Clement. Nothing else I can say.
But she seems to be someone who's not interested in a job. She feels like she has disengaged. She has completely lost interest in doing the work. She's probably just waiting for retirement and stuff like that, which is really sad. Praying that, the next NDPP is someone who is really interested in doing the job, in getting justice done. Thank you.
Morning, Madimeja. You see, that's the incompetence of the NPA, because we have an incompetent head of the NPA. Huh? No. Like, first thing first, like the first time when I had that, then I just said, Chauke is walking free here. He's going to walk scot-free. Because I don't know this woman, I can't understand. Like, she doesn't familiarize herself with everything, the dockets, the documents there, like, I think the NPA must just overall the NPA and get a competent person. Now, this woman, man. Even if Chauke was guilty, he's going to walk scot-free, because she's already messed up the case. The case is so messed up. A great one.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I'm really looking forward to the recommendations of this inquiry. 7 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
All right. So, remember we got a message earlier from Anonymous who says, hey, Clement, I'm bisexual. I've been in love with my lady for about 2 years now, and we have 2 kids. The other day we met my ex-boyfriend at a mall and we just said hi to each other. And since then I've been wondering if I should disclose to my girlfriend that I've been with a guy before. What if he finds out from somebody else? So I've been asking you, if you have advice for Anonymous, and there are some WhatsApps that have come through, some texts as well that I'll read. Let's start here.
Hi, Clemza. Good morning. My take on Advocate Batohi's submission, I'll actually link to Dr. Imogen and also Julius Mkwanazi, in that people who are used to giving one-way or top-down directives / instructions, they don't fare very well when they are questioned, when they are led, and when they're cross-examined, because they're not used to, shall we say, engage in verbal jabbing and sparring. They are used to one way of communicating, and they're not used to getting instant feedback. And lastly, I think it's also the tension of public speaking that gets the better of some of these people, because a job title does not necessarily mean that you are a good public speaker, a good debater, and dare I say, you don't necessarily make for a good witness. Thanks.
Good morning, Clement. I just wanted to give advice on the bisexual guy, on him telling his wife or girlfriend about his sexuality. I would rather advise that he doesn't, because imagine when, I'm a woman, so I'm just thinking this on my side. If my man now is out with the boys, I will just think that what if he's dating those boys, or there's something that they are doing together, or maybe if he has a best friend. I'll always, at the back of my head, think that my baby and that friend, there is something, because now he's bio. So I'm always going to be uncomfortable when he's with other men. So I rather he doesn't. Yeah, okay. That's just my option, my opinion. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. So the advice there is, and this is coming from a woman's perspective, who says, if I was in that woman's shoes, I wouldn't want to know, because now I'm going to be extra, I'm going to scrutinize everything you do with guys. Like when you're out with the boys, I'm going to think, really, is it really just the boys or is it something else? But also, what if the partner just wants to be transparent and honest? Another advice comes from Anonymous on the WhatsApp line who says, hi Clement, with Anonymous's bisexuality, I wouldn't recommend advising the girlfriend because she might not trust him with his guy friends, and every gent he's close with might be scrutinized. Also, the timing will be questioned as to why now, what happened. He must just continue with the girlfriend and keep it moving. But what happens, guys, if the girlfriend does find out? What happens if somebody tells the girlfriend? And I mean, she is going to feel some level of betrayal, no? She probably is going to feel like this is something you tell me so that I can decide whether I want to be with you or not. Another one says, hey Clement, please keep me anonymous. Yazi bro, I'm bisexual, ne? So I met this girl beginning of the year. We dated. Then after I dated her, my ex-boyfriend from varsity, who was not aware that I'm bi, asked for love back and I gave him. So I dated two of them. Now I disclosed my sexuality to him. He was mad and made me to choose between him or her. So I chose him. The painful thing is that is that I told her that I don't want the relationship. She aborted her pregnancy because she was pregnant also. Oh, I regret disclosing this. That's a message there from Anonymous. I tried to read it as I understand it, but the point here is he is responding to that message from the bisexual man who doesn't know whether to tell the current girlfriend or not of his bisexuality, and he's saying he was in a similar situation, but he ended up dating both this lady and the ex-boyfriend from school. And what he is now regretting is that when he disclosed his sexuality, the lady didn't accept that and she ended up aborting their child. So he now says he regrets ever disclosing that. Oh, my goodness. And then another person says, hi Clement, please keep me anonymous. I lost my brother's picture one day, so he used it as an excuse to sexually molest me when I was 13 and he was 20. He said, if I tell our parents, he will also tell them that I stole and lost his photo. I was young and I didn't reveal it to anyone until my parents died. I am at least better now because my now husband knows my blood brother Clement did that to me. Yo, yeah, this is crazy. I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm sorry that you've had to carry that, and your parents have had to go. But thank goodness you've got a loving husband who can help you carry such a painful, traumatic thing. Another message says, Clement, my problem with this guy who has just shared his story, the bisexual guy, is that he still identifies as bisexual. I think that is the problem. If he still sees himself as bisexual, then it means that as things stand, he is still attracted to men. And that is what he must discuss with the girlfriend. So that's what another advice from Anonymous says. We must actually do a topic about that probably on our relationship feature, because I'm getting, quite a few messages of guys who are saying, I'm bisexual and this is what I've had to deal with. So maybe that's something we can put up on our relationship feature next. But thank you so much for being kind enough to advise Anonymous.